rubicon.com and download. But talk about the seminars.
Well, I mean, the seminars were created, and our goal within the seminars, at least me personally, is that I want to be able to get the information out. My billable time is $250 an hour. I don't ever do free consultations, and I'm booked out 6 to 8 weeks in advance. I know the very people who need the service and the information that I provide. Realistically, many of them cannot afford it, and so the very cost alienates the client who may most need this service. The seminars are geared to be able to help all of those people who may not be able to afford the cost of coming to see somebody like me, but may actually need this information, and we can get it out for free. And so that's really what it's all about. What I encourage people to do is to go to coveryourassets21.com and get this information. My job is to know what the attorney knows, the financial advisor, the CPA, the credit specialist, and everything combined, and then help a person determine their options and what their objectives are, and then help them pursue the path to do it. Once that takes place, I send them to the very best professionals to do that. And that's why I always say I don't get my referrals from the bulletin board at the coffee shop. I deal with the people who are the best, and that's the people who are sitting around this table with me.
Absolutely. So coveryourassets21.com can get you access to something that maybe you really need, but couldn't ordinarily afford under your current circumstances. And they can also tap into somebody like you, Craig Nestor. You really need to explain this prosperity triangle that we talk about so much around here.
Well, we call it on the show as the prosperity triangle. And, our clients, our friends, our families, our own financial foundation is under attack. We live in a historic economic time. At least statistically, this is the worst housing market we've ever seen. And we recognize that each client represents a family, and each family situation is entirely unique. So our mission is to provide our clients with clear and concise options, solutions that include the financial and emotional pros and cons of each. So one of the places that people are in is they're in the current storm, and they need some expert help and some more, oars in the water, so to speak. And that's really what we want to do, is be able to slow them down, get a good plan, and get on a course of action that allows them to land softly either in their current house or somewhere else.
So there's a few different points, 3 to be exact, on the prosperity triangle. And the one that you deal with, we've touched on a little bit, but we've got 2 other points sitting here in the room.
Todd, go ahead and explain a little bit about that.
Well, as I always say, the people who come to see me often are people who haven't missed a single payment, but they're intelligent people who, for the most part, have not missed a payment in their lives and have always been stable and strong. They'll come to me seeking information and advice as to which direction to go, and they may come to me telling me that they have to do a short sale. They have no choice. They know that because they simply can't afford their home. I'll do a comprehensive budget. I'll look at the cost of their home, and oftentimes you're looking at a home, and the question is to stay or to go. So I look at the home, and I say, all right, well, look, I see what you've got going on. You've got a $300,000 first mortgage. You've got a second mortgage of $100,000, and you're telling me that you got to leave the home because you can't afford the house. And I say, well, here's the problem that I see. Even if you walk away from the home, you're going to be renting at $1,500 per month. When and if you do, you've got $90,000 in credit card debt, and you're still upside down, and you've not fixed anything. Whether you're 50 feet underwater or 100 feet underwater, you're still drowning. You've not fixed anything. What if, in fact, we could file bankruptcy, position you to do that? Oh, my God, they want to jump out the window. Well, listen, hear me out. We could strip out your second mortgage so you'll not have a second mortgage of $100,000 any longer. We'll get rid of your $90,000 in credit card debt, and I'll send you over to Craig, who will do a forensic audit to see if we can get a loan modification to lower the payment on your first. You'll not have a second. You'll not have any outstanding unsecured debt, and now you're in a strong position to be able to stay in the home. That's the stay or to go question. They sit there and they go, my God, can you actually do that? Yes. But they don't even know that these options exist. So if we come to the conclusion to stay or to go means we got to short sell the house, then I'm going to send them over to Jason, because we do need to get a short sale done. We do want to minimize the damage. And now we're looking ahead to put ourselves in a better position, in which case we need a professional who really knows how to do a short sale properly.
And Jason, I'd like you to give us a little more detail on the client that you mentioned early on in the show, where you did a short sale, but you were able to get them into another house before the shoe dropped, if you will.
I'll tell you what's interesting right now is we are working with more and more families that are on both ends of the prosperity triangle. They're in a situation where we need to do a short sale. We've sat down early enough so that we can explore all options, every option that they may have. And I have two separate families that I'm working with right now that we're doing a short sale. We're going to get their home sold. We have offers on both of them. and we're out finding the next home. So they're, at the top, and they're taking opportunity of the deals that are out there, of the real estate that is priced, sometimes $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 less than what it was just a few years ago. And we're getting out of a bad situation and simultaneously getting into one of the greatest opportunities that I've ever seen.
And this is a time on the other side of your personal little point on the prosperity triangle. There's also another group the investor, who right now, people that are buying, what's going to happen to them in 10 years?
Well, they're going to be sitting pretty good, I think.
I think so too.
I think they're going to be sitting real good. We early in the show I talked about the home south of the river, 5,000 square foot, 6-bedroom home, sold for almost $700,000 a few years ago. Now on the market for $419,000. This is a home that not only may appeal to the move up buyer. They're in a situation where they can, even if they're going to lose, $10,000, $20,000 on the house that they're living in right now, they're gaining such a huge equity potential on that move up that it makes sense. Also for the investor, guys that want to go out and buy properties, do a rehab, turn around and make $30,000, $40,000 on a transaction like that. There is an incredible amount of opportunity.
We see that when we come back to the prosperity triangle, there's the people that are in the storm. Mm-hmm. And those are the people that we obviously want to get immediate, aid to. And then we also, when we speak with Todd, we see that there's people that are not actually in the storm, but boy, is their boat in the same river as everybody else. And then there's the family that's in a better position. Many people are aware that some of the country's wealthiest individuals and corporations make huge strides during recessionary type economies. If we look back at the first recession, depression, what we see, lots of loss, but also more millionaires were created at any other time in our country's history. Mm-hmm. When we look back at this time now, we're going to see 8 million, 12 million, 16 million foreclosures, but we're also going to see more millionaires than ever were created in our country's history.
And ironically, probably that will be in the real estate area, don't you think?
95% of all Americans, their wealth is in their home and in real estate, only 4.5% in the stock market. You got to come and see Jason.
Interesting.
Craig, you got to talk about what you and I talked about yesterday about the Arizona group. Now, Craig buys distressed properties, and he was talking with me a little bit about that. Can you explain real quick about the unique opportunity in Minnesota?
There are 4,000 notice of foreclosures that go out each month in Minnesota.
4,000?
4,000.
Wow.
Over 2,000 sheriff sales a month here in Minnesota, 1,000 evictions. And the numbers don't change. This animal's eating its way up the food chain. So as a buyer at the sheriff's sale, you can do very, very well right now with some quality properties.
Don't you need some pretty good advice to be able to navigate through that?
Call the show.
Yeah, it's 855-835-8500. That's 855-835-8500. Now, guys, we opened the show talking about Cover Your Assets and the Financial Crisis Bible, okay? Let's just wrap up with that again, because you can download that at coveryourassets21.com, where they can learn more about all three of you as well.
Mm-hmm. That is the best piece of free information you're going to find anywhere. Most people who come to see me, they'll talk with me and they'll say, I've been to see an attorney, a CPA, a financial advisor, a mortgage broker, a real estate agent, and I've learned more in 1 hour than I've learned with all these people combined. Where'd you come from? This Financial Crisis Bible is to put all of that information together and give a person the information they need to make a decision as to which direction to go or how to stay out of that situation in the first place. The problem is people wait too long. And the other problem is that most people don't recognize the fact that if I actually just had the information, I could make a decision and posture myself to be back in control. If you don't know what's going to happen when you wake up in the morning, that's the thing that gives you the most stress. Your goal is to know the options and make a decision and put yourself back in control with the options that afford themselves at this particular moment.
CoverYourAssets21.com. Craig, you've been waiting all hour for this.
Hey, I got a shout out. Dr. Stephen DeHaven Chiropractic Clinic, Vadnais Heights, Minnesota. He's my handsome Christian friend. He's a great healer and a wonderful chiropractor, even a better friend. Hey, Dr. Cool, thanks for all your love.
Oh, nice. Jason Walgrave, any final thoughts following that?
I think that we come in every week and we've got listeners have an access for a full hour. I mean, the reality is the three of us work 70, 80 plus hours a week. This is free information that's available also on the website, coveryourassets21.com.
If you know of anybody Tell them to go there.
Podcast.
Absolutely. Do the podcast, coveryourassets21.com. That's where you find the Financial Crisis Bible. If you're in one, if you are afraid of one, if you never want to be in one, that's absolutely where you want to go. coveryourassets21.com. Thanks for joining us this week. Todd Rooker, Craig Nestor, Jason Walgrave will all be back with you next Saturday right here at 8 a.m. Have a safe, great weekend.
Wow.